All right, this is Jeffrey Crivero, and I am conducting an oral history with Miss Wanda Parker. The interview is being conducted at Hopper Academy in the Georgetown neighborhood of Sanford, Florida on Saturday, February 8th, 2025. Ms. Parker, thank you for speaking with us today. Would you please begin by stating your full name for us, and then just tell us a little about where you're from and what life was like for you growing up?
Well, my full name is Wanda Parker, and I'm from Lake City, Florida, in Columbia County. That's North Florida. I grew up, I call myself a country girl, and I'm proud of being a country girl, but we lived in the city portion of Lake City. I grew up, I had a very happy childhood. Didn't really realize that we were quote unquote poor until I got to, I think it was social studies in the 7th grade, and that I saw what the median or average household income was, and I knew my mom made nowhere near what that was. I grew up with my mother and my grandmother, specifically my grandmother. She was a great influence on my life. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't draw from something that she said or that she taught me or that I saw her do. So those were the biggest influences in my childhood.
Where did you attend school, and do you have any memories that stand out for you?
I attended preschool-wise, I don't, and I probably didn't attend a traditional preschool. Neighbors or relatives kept us, as children. But the first memory would be probably kindergarten or something like that. And it was a public school. Melrose Elementary was the first one that I kind of remember. And I just remember, I guess, the children from my neighborhood attending. But that was also my first probably experience going to school or being on a daily basis with people that didn't necessarily look like me. Of course, I was used to, white, maybe not Hispanic or other cultures, but just seeing them like in the grocery store or at the bank or something like that, but just on a daily basis going to, seeing them and interacting with them would probably be first or second grade. And as far as most memorable experience was probably May Day. In May, we did the flagpole. And I don't know that they do that anymore, but every May we would have May Day, and we have a big pole at the school, and you dress up, and you would do a dance around a pole. It's called the May Day, I guess, flagpole dance or what have you. But as far as junior high, there was a period of time actually that we moved to this area. It wasn't in Sanford, it was in Volusia County, Daytona Beach. And, or actually we lived in DeLand where we have some relatives. And from 3rd to 6th grade, I attended Dempsey Brewster Elementary School. And from 3rd to 6th grade, 3rd grade I was in the class with everyone else. But after that we took an aptitude test. And it was supposed to, I guess, rate you as far as where you should be. And we started going to what was called combination classes. And I recall I was the only not little black girl, but the only black child in that class. All the other children were white. And so from 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I was in this combination class. We actually changed classes, and it was a higher level class we had. And we didn't do basic math. In fact, in the 5th grade, I was doing algebra. Now for nowadays, algebra in the 5th grade probably isn't a big deal. But 45 years ago, it was a big deal. And math and science came, pretty easy to me. But I do distinctly remember after leaving, taking the higher level courses and moving back to North Florida, 7th grade, when my mom went to enroll me in school, they took the records, but instead of putting me in the higher level classes, they did not. They put me down in the basic classes. However, by the time I eventually got to high school, I did advance a little more, but by them not putting me in the correct courses I should have been in, I didn't advance as much as I should have, or education-wise. But I didn't really notice that until I got to maybe geometry or trigonometry, and in probably my junior or my senior year, and there were some people taking those courses that had already taken those courses, and I should have already taken them as well. I ended up taking the APFAT. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's the test that you take to see where you should be. I think it's military-wise. And I remember telling Mr. Geiger, he was our science teacher. He taught physics, and when I told him I wanted to be an engineer, he was like, I don't think you're, really. That's a career path you should take. Take this or take that. I don't remember the other courses he told me, because it went in one ear and out the other. But needless to say, I went on to go to Florida A&M University, the best HBCU in the country, in Tallahassee, and it was a joint program. It's the only joint program in the U.S. between an HBCU and PWI, and that would be Florida State. I had my civil engineering degree, and it was an experience in itself, going to an HBCU, but also going through a joint program, because even though I was at a predominantly black institution, I really didn't see a lot of that. The first 2 years I did, but it was a 5-year program. And the third through the 5th year, we had a separate college. So I really didn't see a lot of my peers, other than engineering students. But it was still a good experience, it really was. So that's pretty much my education up until where I am now, I guess. So.
Do you have a favorite professor or a favorite grade school teacher or something that stood out?
I do. Miss Mitchell in the 3rd grade when I was at Dempsey Brewster. I remember it was a paper shortage, or maybe it was an oil shortage during the 70s, and I remember I was making paper dolls out of paper, and she was like, "You're wasting paper." But I also recall that she being the person that told me, she said, "Wanda, you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be." And honestly, my mom had never told me that. My grandmother had never told me that. This white teacher, Miss Mitchell, 3rd grade, told me that. And after that, I believed that I could do anything and be anything I wanted to be. Now, in college, it would be, there were 2. I cannot recall. I know his name. He taught Black history, and I took his class 2 times, actually, 2 different levels, but I cannot recall his name. But what I remember about him was that when you got in his class, he was a dark-skinned, kind of heavy-set black man. And he said, "Okay, you're going to take my course, and look, it's not going to be an easy course." And he said, don't get in here thinking just because you look like me that I'm going to be easy on you. And he wasn't. Hemingway, Dr. Hemingway, that was his name, Dr. Hemingway. And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to talk about he said, the white people. That's the way he said it. He said, I'm going to talk about the white people. But he taught me something about myself. And this is what he taught me. I remember growing up in Lake City, when I would see a black family that was kind of, downtrodden or what have you, and, not living, I won't say high on the hog, but that, or maybe they'd done something they shouldn't have done or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily feel sorry for them. I'd be like, okay, this is the way that you want to live, and I, in essence, thought they were bad people because they didn't act the way they should have acted. They didn't look the way they should have looked. However, when I saw a poor white family, I thought, oh, those poor people, we should help them out because, they're not that way because of the societies, because they need a hand up. And I'm like, these are essentially the same people. Why did I think bad about the black people and not about white people? It's the mentality. They're the same people. I should, if I want to give a hand to one, I should want to help the other, kind of thing. So he kind of taught through his teachings. He taught me that I had kind of a self-prejudice against my own people and myself, but not necessarily in a bad way, because it allowed me, from a spiritual standpoint, to really understand that God sees us all the same. He doesn't have lenses on, like a blue lens or a red lens. He sees us all the same. And that's the way, as a good Christian, I should see other people. And the second professor was Dr. Najee. He was my engineering counselor. And he was Nigerian. And he ended up being my oldest daughter's godfather. We just had a really good connection. It was never anything where he gave me privilege or anything like that. He just kind of was the father figure that I didn't have growing up, in a sense. So those are my favorites.
Well, is there anything that you want to expand on? Do you have any final thoughts or anything for us?
When is it Wilson, she gave the first.
Oh, Lester.
Dr. Lester. When she was talking about genealogy, I really connected a lot to what she was saying, because I didn't find it, not necessarily me, but my ex-husband did not find out that his father's name was not his name until we were married for probably 10 or 15 years. He didn't realize that his name wasn't Garvin, it was Freeman, because of something that had happened similar to some of the stories that she told. And then growing up, my grandfather, his name was Boykin, and we found out that that really wasn't his last name. Because someone, either him or someone close to him, had done something criminal, and they moved from the Carolinas. They had to change their name, kind of thing. So a lot of what she said resonated really with me, but it encouraged me also, because from our family reunions, we always have a genealogy page. We do them every other year. And my cousin is doing the one in Miami next year, and she sent us this big pamphlet of stuff. She's like, okay, go through each one of these things and remember you write down what you remember, that type of thing. Because we want to have a good history, because like she said, when it came to census and things like that, we do have some census information in our family reunion booklets, but it says things like child 1, child 2, child 3. It doesn't give a name. It doesn't give an age or something like that. So her workshop kind of inspired me to dig a little deeper, kind of thing. So, and I also want to thank you guys for doing what you do.
Absolutely. And we thank you for sharing your story and your time with us. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Well, this has been Jeffrey Cavero at Hopper Academy on February 8th, 2025.